Hello, good morning. I am here with Kevin Broberg, and we are here to judge the entries to the Iron Chef. Iron Chef contest that we run. And the winner of this, we're going to send a box of first edition Heroes Clash. Mostly fun exercise, get to see some creative decks, some creative combos, and see what people came up with. So, for those who don't know, the idea here is I put up this UBS Ultra Link about 2 weeks ago, maybe now, with a deadline of mid last week, and these 6 cards in the sideboard are the ingredients, and you have to use 4 of them at the listed counts, right? So either you are a Mount Lady deck using 3 of these, or you're using 4 of these in some other character. And they all have good and void. So you have two choices for symbols, and we'll do that for all of these, because there's going to be 2 more of these after this. So if you maybe missed this one, and you're interested in trying out one of the future ones, see how kind of the judging goes, and I'm gonna have a different guest judge on each one. Probably not physically here with me in other cases.
Yeah, I invited myself over. This wasn't fun.
Yeah, but one camera, one mic, less technical difficulties. It'll work out. So we have Cat Scratch, Tetsu Thrashing, Idlework, First Impressions, Mount Lady, and Rebound Sidekick. Now, some of these have some cross synergies with each other a little bit, right? Like, there's some Idlework, Tetsu stuff we're going to see in here that kind of naturally lines up. First Impressions is kind of naturally good in Mount Lady for various reasons. So there'd be a little, but we're grading, not primarily, but definitely a lot on, is this deck actually good? Like, that is important.
Right? Yeah. For me, my criteria was really, is this deck saying something? Is this a deck that knows what it's here for? Is this a deck built around something? Or is it kind of a pile of cards that happen to contain the right things?
Yeah, and then also, creativity. Is there stuff in here that's like, oh wow, that's a surprising little combo, or oh my god, they went there, right?
Yeah,
like that sort of stuff. We have some 2-check heavy decks in here, and then last but not least, are you making use of these cards, or are they just kind of bolted on?
Yeah.
Right. And there's going to be some of those lists in here where usually either Cat Scratch or Rebound Sidekick are the cards that are just kind of there.
Yeah.
Idlework, it's a little unavoidable. There's only so many ways you can interact with Idlework, so I gave things a bit of a pass on that. Yeah.
I'm happy to see when Idlework is doing something special, but
right.
I'm kind of expecting.
Not going to be mad if it's...
it's a spam that kind of has a relatively modest impact on the game in any case.
Yeah. All right, so without further ado, we have 16 decks to go through, and we will find out how much we there were a lot of repeat characters. I was surprised we only got 2 Mandalays and 3 Gran Trinos.
Yeah, Gran Torino's
Gran Torino's a popular pick for this, and
it made a little. Once I saw the decks, it's like, okay, I can kind of see.
You can understand why. Yeah, right.
And I'm happy that this isn't a tournament where we have to then beat up those poor old men.
Right.
We can just judge him on the merits of what's going on.
Yeah. All right. So without further ado, our first deck is from Plus Ultra Red Hood. This is a Tetsu deck, and we are using the we're actually using 5 cards in this one. I think this is the only one to use 5.
Okay, there were 2 that used 5.
There were 2 that used 5?
I didn't notice on this one.
Yeah, so we have Rebound and Cat Scratch and Tetsu, as well as the Idlework and the First Impressions. So the one thing that jumped out at me with this list, and that I started noticing throughout the run, is that there are people here trying to use the Cat Scratch Momentum Enhance.
Yeah.
So what's going on here is with Hardened Jab, if you use Cat Scratch and you name mid, then Hardened Jab now gets to pick up a momentum instead of picking up a foundation. And that is pretty funny. But besides that, personally, I don't know what... Do you know what Rebound Sidekick and Tetsu?
It does not seem very good. It is a flash attack that cannot receive +4 damage, and so it's like the easiest thing to not block. But, maybe if they're relying on something like Eraserhead's Enhanced to pick up that block. The Eraserhead's a terrible example for this. But something to tutor the mid block in their hand, well, now it has flash, so they can't do that. But it's tiny, and, it pushes some pressure on them, I guess. It's reliable momentum, and it does, and my immediate thought was, well, it's -2 damage, and that's great in my, DR wall deck.
Yeah. I mean, when we set an attack, there's probably some funny plays where you set the attack to 1, and then make it -1. So that's pretty entertaining, but other than that, I think I'd rather this be something that... Tetsu, I'm always worried about actually killing people.
Yes, even with thrashing in here.
Yeah, right. You can't win every game on the back of thrashing, and Cat Scratch makes, we've got the Cat Scratch Hard and Jab combo going on, so that's pretty cool. But I'd rather see 4 Tetsu Tetsu Fist, for instance. Oh, shoutouts, smallest deck registered. Yeah. There were 3 decks that were in the 50s, and everything else was 60 or more. Yeah, we've got the note taking in here. New training method is just like an extra card for Tetsu. Nothing too wild in here, but I do like this combo here.
Yeah, I like that this deck was a small deck, but I'm a little concerned that it's a lot of 3-ofs, a lot of even like passing the torch where you discard down to 0 cards and then draw 2 it feels like a really core part of Tetsu, and especially if they're going to be like flipping it or something, and then that's not a 4-of now. It's like I like that we trimmed the deck, but I think the prioritization here wasn't necessarily clear to me.
Yeah. All right. Next we have Barry Everson, Nato Monoma. Yeah, so this one came out of nowhere. I can't say that was on my bingo card. All right, Kev, what do you like or not like about this?
Well, I do like 4 Heroic Strike. That's a nice card.
Yes.
That's a that's a direction we're going in. We're gonna overwhelm them with a bunch of punches and stun them out and beat them up. This deck has a lot of cards in it, which means that you get a lot of space to have interesting things, have neat things on your table. I guess you get to play. I see. Notice 4x pull no punches. Wait, was this even a Tetsu deck?
No, this is a Monoma.
Well, Tetsu Thrashing.
Oh yeah. Nope. There's no T1000 in here, as you lovingly call it.
Oh yeah.
We have Cat Scratch. We should probably go over what's being used here. So we're playing Cat Scratch, Rebound, Sidekick, and the 2 foundations this time.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. This is kind of, I guess, trying to build some kind of critical mass thing. You got a couple card draw effects. You got the 5% full cowling, card drop a hand, and a bunch of card pool clearing. So we're trying to reach some kind of critical mass state. I'm not sure what we're imagining we're going to copy with Monoma, but I'm sure there's something funny out there. If this is like a Kirishima deck, that's probably like fine.
Yeah. I think when I looked, I was surprised that there are no throws.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, we're still Monoma.
Yeah.
And I think one of the ideas here, and some of this is we're going to ascribe combos and ideas that might not be at all what the person was doing, right? But there were like 3 or 4 people that put in descriptions. I didn't want to like read some and not the others, and plus, what if somebody has this essay as of a description and they don't mention the combo? I'm thinking about like now how do I feel about it, right? So, but what I think is going on here is we're trying to say like, okay, well, if we're playing Rebound, Sidekick, and First Impressions, maybe we don't need a throw to land something as Monoma.
Yeah,
right?
Rebound, Sidekick is a nice way to put them to the test on turn 2 or turn 3.
Yeah. How long do you think you're going to stop me from copying you?
Yeah.
You think it's long enough that you're willing to block this or not? And then sort of the same with First Impressions. You say, okay, if I play 2 moves, especially if one of them set up strike right. So I get that. I think that's neat, but yeah, I think if you're Monoma, I don't think you get away with not running throws.
Yeah, and one thing that struck me with this deck too is that if we're playing a Monoma deck and we're playing 3 Evade and Copy, and we're not even like it's not even a really thin cut down deck like the last
right,
one.
Right. It's 64.
Yeah, it's a big boy, and it's only got 3 of the funniest card.
Yeah, 3 of really. This is as much of one Monoma's abilities as anything else.
Absolutely.
Right. This is his hidden static is he gets to run 4 of this, and I would almost want most of my Monomas to be close to 50 to find evading copies. Next we have P-Hade or Fade or not quite sure how we're supposed to pronounce that. But yeah, we have a good symbol Mount Lady deck. So this is our first Mount Lady deck. I'm sure we'll see a handful of Mount Lady decks since he was one of the cards. So we're running Mount Lady as well as Rebound, Sidekick, and the 2 foundations.
Yep. So Mount Lady, Rebound, Sidekick is a bit of a combo. If you don't have a Mount Lady in the discard pile, but you do have a Rebound, Sidekick, you get that momentum. It goes face up, and so you get to do funny things with it. Yep.
And just playing it out of your hand is guaranteed momentum, and she wants momentum quite badly. I like similar, last deck. Here are the throws, right? We're a Mount Lady deck. We want to be able to, at some point in the game, put +6, +8 damage on some throws and win. I appreciate that this Mount Lady deck understands what it means to be Mount Lady.
Yeah.
You want to be running these stirs, this Hardened Frenzies that are tricky to block. 4 Heroes Inspiration was interesting. It almost made me think Cat Scratch was in here at one point and then came out.
Yeah, that was one of the things that struck out with this deck was, again, this is a 4X. This is a statement. We are playing here. We're here for Heroes Inspiration. and I'm not sure why. I guess if you like play an attack and then inspiration and then capture evildoers with all of your copious momentum, then you can clear that inspiration out. And
I don't think we have a way to put it on top of our deck or anything like that. You
just be trying to check it too.
Yeah, we could just be trying to check it. Maybe this person's played decks with that card in it and been like, wow, I actually check this card a lot, right?
Yeah.
Battle Resolve, I like. We're going to see a lot of Recovery Scroll Kiss in these Haymaker decks.
Yeah.
In Mount Lady's case, she wants speed so badly that I appreciate Battle Resolve. You know,
Yeah,
commit 2 foundations for +3 speed's not a good rate. If you win the game, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, and I really like too this is making the most of first impressions on both sides. You know,
right.
It gives a bonus to your first attack. So if you play a throw and it's really fat, that's really uncomfortable, right? You're taking 4 no matter what, and if you block it, now it's a card out of your hand, and now if there's a cannon blast or an airstream drive or even just a haymaker coming behind that, and now you're going to Mount Lady pump that, and if it's unblockable, that's a really good way to close the game out real quick.
Yeah. So I like this a fair bit. The idle work, like I said before, it's not. It's hard to really synergize with idle work. We do have the small limbers. That is one method you get to do.
Yeah.
Right.
Idle work. I think in my notes on this one that I kind of liked idle work. Just that we were kind of trying to play some medium length strings. But that might have been a different deck even.
Yeah. Idle work does. Maybe not intentionally, but it does have Mount Lady in there. I think Mount Lady likes this card in general.
Yeah.
Because she's normally playing longer games. She could use the deadlock out. She's playing these things that are like, yeah, I'm pretty sure you're blocking this.
Yeah, like here's my 9 damage haymaker. It's like you're supposed to block the 9 damage haymaker.
Yeah, if me destroying a foundation makes you decide not to block this, awesome.
Yeah, and if you have the 6 hand size problem where you draw a haymaker, you draw a throw, but your opponent's at 12. You need that haymaker can draw a card, and then you can idle work it.
Yeah.
And then you can try to find the second or third attack to actually close that game out.
Yeah. All right. So all in all, we like this deck. This is going to be one of our top 5 decks. So we're going to go through this. We're going to mention the top 5 as we get to them, and then we'll announce the winner at the end. But this deck pretty nice take on Mount Lady. Pretty kind of normal Mount Lady. But using the ingredients and making some use out of some of them. So
yeah, it was well constructed, and I liked how it came together along with it's a trope for a reason.
Right. All right, then we have Remillard's Mount Lady deck. So this is again on the good symbol. So my favorite part of this list is Velocity Punch.
Yeah. Get that extra momentum going. Yeah. So tell me about this deck. 'Cause I saw this one, and I kind of, I saw Velocity Punch. I saw a bunch of cards I just think of as medium, and
yeah. So in this case we're running Tetsu and Rebound Sidekick, and I think we actually cut Idle Work from this list. We're not running the Idle Work.
Nice.
We are running the First Impressions. Instead going Tetsu.
I was so thrown off by the Hype Man. That was what eventually consumed my attention. Of we're having this momentum, and we're
Hype Man to protect.
Spending it on
cool.
so little.
Well, we're spending it on Mount Lady. Yeah, we still have Mount Lady. Hype Man, I like the Hype Man. I think maybe we feel like we need the good high blocks or something. But so there are 6 2-checks in this deck, and we have Battle Resolve here too, so that's cool.
Yep.
We have the battle. We have the 8s. We're reasonably respectful foundation base, and which we're mentioning for a reason. And this is one of they're not the only deck using Detroit Smash, and the reason. And especially with Mount Lady, and this is the really cool thing about this deck, is the dream play is here, right? So the dream is we Detroit Smash, we get 3 momentum, our hand is empty, then we Tetsu, and Mount Lady all of them.
Oh, wow. That didn't even click for me.
Yeah. So that's...
Yeah, no, okay, this is going way up in my estimation. One thing I did like about this deck, too, is that we're playing... Again, we're going to talk about first impressions. That is that your next attack gets. And one of my favorite things that is not happening very much in this format right now, but it's just the plus ultra doubling enhance. Gets to double those bonuses. So you can say, here's my Detroit Smash. I have 2 momentum. I'm going to double it, or I don't even have 2 momentum. I'm going to play my attack. I'm going to... First impressions, you're going to have to block it. And then here's Detroit Smash, 9 speed, 18 speed... And then, figure out the damage from there.
Yeah. 18 speed is quite a lot. This is, and the good symbol kind of has this problem generally that we have high value target and specials set at like 2 and 3. There's not a lot of passing blocks in our 6 hand size with no defense on the face.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of an awkward part of these Mount Lady decks, but I like the Velocity Punch include. I like the Detroit Smash into Tetsu. It's still like a little bit less than the throw version.
Yeah.
In terms of viability, but this is pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right, next we have another Mount Lady. This one, Elysian's Mount Lady, and I believe this one is Void.
Yes, this deck is definitely making the most out of Hardened Jab, and yes, you got some Fierce Whirlwinds here. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I'm missing the Fierce Whirlwind, or it's just saying this is an attack that's like virtually 0 difficulty. We're gonna be medium late in the game as Mount Lady wants to be, right? She wants to be turn 3, turn 4 on a big attack strings, and we're just gonna play an attack, and it's gonna untap our stage. What's left of it?
Yeah, and one of the cool things, Void Mount Lady, you get to run Exhausted Exclamation.
Yep.
Yeah, we sort of get to have our passing the torch. So here we are with the Cat Scratch and the Hardened Jab. We can go pick up a momentum, and with Mount Lady, we get to tutor for anything we want. We don't have any clear targets for that. It kind of amounts to, we're going to play a Cat Scratch into a Hardened Jab into what? I don't know.
Yeah. A chop with some damage on it to strip your hands, then we can
barrage 7 difficulty chop, yeah. I'm not quite, Hardened Pummel maybe, like I kind of like, so Pummel is cool in that like early game it gives you a big damage thing to do with your momentum when you don't have your Mount Lady stacked yet. So that's an interesting include here. Yeah, I forgot to say, so we are Rebound, and Cat Scratch, and this time we have Idle Work. We were not running First Impressions.
Ah, okay, yeah.
Interesting swap here.
And I think that, with this attack lineup, that makes sense. These are not a lot of attacks that you're going to lead on and then put 3 damage on it. Your opponent's going to be like, oh, geez, I don't know if I'm supposed to block this one. They're just going to block it the first attack most of the time anyway.
Yeah.
It's a lot of mids.
We have the 3+ ultras here, which is what you were talking about. So pretty neat. I think we...
Yeah, and we have the plus ultras, but we have almost no things that trigger it. We have no first impressions.
No first impressions. We have no setup strike. Yeah,
easily excited for a doubleable +1, but I don't think I know I really like Heroic Lineage.
Yeah, which is also not here. Yeah,
not here.
Yeah,
not necessarily easy to trigger for Mount Lady, but
yeah, it is a little odd to me. We're talking about the good symbol deck again. No defense on the face. Our defense here is 2 unexpected heroes and whatever we can get out of escape. We have a couple learning the standards.
Yeah, some really marginal.
We're really not interested in passing blocks here, which is a little odd to me. Void has
a guy is effectively a -2 speed.
Yeah. If you can block with one of these +3 foundations, I'm not. Or photogenic hero is a statement. We're
blocking with Mount Lady. That's what we're
doing. we are certainly hoping to get a Mount Lady in our hand and block with it, and I don't know how often that happens in practice, but.
Hey, so you can Mount Lady and tutor for a Mount Lady and put your momentum and then build it. And
I don't think you're literally not allowed to do that. All right. If CM Yamato, we have a Selkie deck.
Selkie!
All right, so this one we have Cat Scratch and Rebound Sidekick and the 2 foundations, I believe. Yep, no Tetsu in here. So here's the first impressions and the Idle Work where we're playing Blood Curdle. So yeah, I don't know. What do you make of Selkie?
So Selkie... This is a deck that has a mission, right? Its mission is Recipro Burst.
Yes.
And Selkie seals their way to interact with Recipro Burst, and you slap them around a bunch, and if you ever connect with a slap, you get to clear your card out of progressive difficulty and get 2 momentum to power up your Recipro Burst. That's the story, right?
Yeah. So it's it's a Selkie deck. It is a little bit of like, if we don't land this Recipro Burst, we're not winning.
A little bit,
and... even if we land the Recipro Burst, it's actually a little tricky to get it up above like 10. Which is a lot, but...
We kind of have to like poke and connect on some pokes for like 2 or 3 turns.
Yeah, I'm a little sad to only see 2 Frenzy in here. This seems so good in Selkie.
Yeah.
If you block it, I'm building it. We don't really have a lot of... unless other than Cat Scratch, we don't have a lot of build to power it. We're getting a lot of mileage out of this Cat Scratch build ability here. We have a lot of decks that are trying to get mileage out of it. Yes.
We have a lot of decks that aren't doing much else with it, I suppose you could say.
Yeah, there's not a lot of trying to power up Cat Scratch in these lists.
Yeah,
we do have the lineages.
It's not a Iron Chef. I don't know if I would ever see a Cat Scratch anywhere near this deck list.
Right, yeah, correct, exactly. It is kind of just here.
Yeah.
And that's a little awkward. But, Selkie Rebound Sidekick makes some sense. It gets the momentum. But yeah, this is definitely one. Cat Scratch sticks out like a sore thumb here. It's very...
Yeah. I like Reciprocal Extend. I like Blood Curdle is very intriguing here, where we're playing a bunch of card draw and a bunch of stuff. We're trying to get a big string where they're not going to have a character to play with.
Right. I'm going to get your best foundation and your character. Yeah. And now I'm going to... Yeah, so this is definitely... It definitely loses points for just kind of being a Selkie with Cat Scratch just kind of flopped on there. Yeah, but... kind of neat to see this alpha list nonetheless.
Yeah, I was happy to see this.
All right, we have our second Tetsu, 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 Tetsu. I'll say the right number of Tetsu 0 times.
That's why I just call him T1000.
Yeah, so here's the thrashing, here's the sidekick. We're playing all 3, which means we cut idle work. Which makes some sense for your 5-hander, right?
Fun, yeah.
All right, so this one we're playing Wind Up Punch, which makes some sense. I'm surprised we don't have Tetsu's Tetsu Fist.
Tetsu Fist, yeah, that's a very strong card for Tetsu. I like seeing One with Nature in this Tetsu deck.
Yes.
Both as, sometimes sometimes your opponents are low on cards because they're, I don't know, playing Passive Torch or something, and so it's hard to get Tetsu thrashing online, and so you have an extra discard outlet. But also, just on top of that, you just put this in your stage, and every time you Tetsu for 4, now it's 5 or 6.
Yeah, and we've got a Hype Man protecting momentum in this list. I'm not quite sure what this is doing.
Yeah, we're protecting our EX.
We're protecting our Haymaker EX.
And our Cat
Scratch. And our Rebound Sidekick. And yeah, we are doing Cat Scratch, Hardened Jab. We're adding Hardened Frenzy to our loopiness, which makes sense.
Hey, maybe their locals are men of culture who really put Instant Shining Flash in every deck, like...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, Instant Shining Flash or Karate Chop. I mean, we have to think about that card now, too. I do think Hype Man is going to start seeing some more play.
Wait, does Hype Man cancel the ability?
Yes.
What does that cancel the stun on Karate Chop?
Yes.
Wow, what a card.
Yes. Yeah, that card is stonked right now. But yeah, but outside, I'm worried about this deck landing things, and maybe that's not what Tetsu's here for. Maybe he's just trying to play a long string.
Yeah.
But it'd be nice to have some speed in here somewhere besides first impressions.
Yeah, at some level, like the all mids, like it's almost all mids, right? It's like frenzy and mids.
Yeah.
And that means we are kind of betting that our opponent built their deck in a bad configuration for the matchup. Like they didn't put, mids on the majority of their blocks, or they didn't have access to tools that put more mid blocks in their hand. And if that works, you're going to have a good time. And if it doesn't work, you're going to just try to stretch the game out as Tetsu and say, well, maybe eventually I'll find a 7-hit string.
Yeah.
With thrashing.
Yeah, and once again, other than, recycling momentum, the Cat Scratch isn't doing a whole lot here. And you already have Frenzy, which you get to recycle. So if you already... And if your momentum's Rebound Sidekick, you don't necessarily want to feed it in with Cat Scratch, but the... It's like kind of doing stuff because we got the jabs in here, but we already have Frenzy. We're playing Male Bonding too for some blind face downs.
I certainly like Male Bonding and Tetsu. I think that's
yeah. Male Bonding and our hard jab Tetsu's for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, a little blockable for what we're doing here. Next we have UFS Hollow's Void Mount Lady.
I like this deck.
Yeah, pick out some things here.
Well, so the biggest thing to me is that this deck is a reciprocal acceleration kick deck. We're playing Mount Lady. We're going to take Mount Lady and put Rebound Sidekicks into our momentum, and then we'll put those momentum into our card pool for 2 damage, and then clear them out for EX with Acceleration Kicks ability. And so we're just completely bypassing that kind of drawback. We're actually turning that drawback of entering our card pool for damage into a feature, and then hopefully with Mount Lady for some more damage on top of that. This can do some, easily double-digit damage Acceleration Kicks for a ton of speed. And it's supplemented by the Acceleration plus High Engine Kick package, which I love. It's really good. It's a really solid base to build everything else on top of. And this is a great first impressions deck to go with all of this too, because you're going to lead an attack. Now it says, please block me. And then we're going to get paid off by putting that +3 speed on our next thing. On a couple different attacks in here that say, if I have 6 speed, you get a piece of candy.
Yeah. So we're playing Exhaust and Engine Boost. Both play well first impressions. We have some local experience with first impressions void kicks.
Yeah.
Beating us up a little bit. And that was before the set. That was before we got to do stuff like this. And, if you don't get the 3 speed off of the first impressions, you do get to get it off of, Reciproc Extend plus a Easel Excited will also get you there. Engine Boost itself is really funny in Mount Lady, because you can discard for the EX, get the momentum back, spend the momentum on Mount Lady for a bonus. I also like that this deck kind of understands that it's not going to be playing the fastest games in the world. We have some defense in here.
Yeah.
We have a bunch of cheeky one-ofs of kind of I'm not really sure which one of these is actually good, but we'll bring in the rest of our sideboard. Sideboards aren't required for this. We're not trying to consider it too much here.
Yeah. But a lot of these decks just have your sideboard of all the cards in it.
Right.
That's
exactly.
totally fine.
Yeah.
but definitely bonus points for having a gesture towards here's how I would adjust my
Yeah,
deck
if the sideboard wasn't here, we'd be able to guess it.
Yeah.
Pretty much, right? The still two photogenic hero. I think we have a lot of uncertainty with these Mount Lady lists. People aren't really sure if this card is good or not. I assume they would in a real world situation, you test this deck out a little bit and then decide if you like photogenic or not.
Yeah,
I like influencing the youth a lot.
Yeah, no, it's certainly we're doing this kick package together. We're trying to have like some forcing lines available, and if your opponent's trying to play a long game, just try to build up a big stage to defend themselves, well, you can find influencing the youth in that long game and have this hammer to crack them open.
Yeah. So all in all, a pretty neat deck. This is going to be one of our top 5. UFS Hollow. All right, next we have D. Rook, David Thomas's Torino Tenderizer. Shoutouts, only 2 people named their decks.
Yes.
The Torino Tenderizer.
That was a bonus. I made up a 10-point criteria list, and you got a full bonus point for naming your deck something.
Yeah.
Remotely evocative, because we're here to build a deck. We're here to build something that has a purpose, that has a meaning, and that is a great way to give something a little bit extra meaning. Yeah,
and that may or may not be the case with the next guest judge. Just saying. So don't feel too bad if you don't name your decks in the next one, but kind of cool to name your decks.
It's pretty cheap to
yeah, it's not that hard. Yeah,
something.
right. So I think this is our first Torino deck, right?
I think it's the first one we looked at.
All right, I think they're all Tetsu decks, crashing decks.
Yes, the deck combo is sweet.
Yes. So explain that.
Well, Torino says after opponent blocks a Fury attack, you get to stack Foundation to put it in your stage. And Tetsu Thrashing says if you have emptied your hand, you have 0 cards in hand, or just fewer than your opponent, you get to turn Tetsu Thrash. You get to enhance and pick up a second copy of Tetsu Thrashing. So if your opponent has like 45 mid blocks in their hand, and you both have infinite control checks, you can Tetsu Thrashing and then put it in your stage, and then say you idle work and blow it up. So you need a sack outlet to make this truly arbitrarily long.
Yeah, either that or like extra, like a month, they block twice or something.
Yeah. You can you Tetsu Thrashing, you get it out of your card pool, it goes to your stage, and then you can get it back. And then you can now just keep doing this, and your opponent eventually either you fail a control check through a series of unfortunate events. It's not very hard. You're clearing precipitously while you're doing this, or you have played every Tetsu Thrashing you have seen the entire game into your card pool, and they all dealt damage.
Yes, and it is thrashing that does a lot of the time do 6 damage and not 4,
yeah.
Right? And yeah, idle work helps grease the wheels a little bit. So we have a few of these Gran Torino decks that are doing the 4x Tetsu Thrashing thing. And so then it becomes a question about what's around it, right?
Yeah.
So this one is Void. I believe the other 2 are the good symbol. And Void is getting us, we've got some Recipro Bursts in here. So we have some like other lines. We are also playing, the Rebound Psychic. High Engine Kick's an interesting one here.
Yeah, it's a little bit lightweight, but it is a good opener. Where if we can, this is a good thing to wear our First Impressions buff. We have our First Impressions deck here.
Yeah.
Speedy, it's now 7 damage all of a sudden. If you block it, well, I got to cycle a card and then I got to put it in my stage, and that's a very comfortable place for Torino to be living.
Yeah, and we have some extra discard outlets in Prone to Dries and Petty Squabble. Like, we understand that we're probably going to try to win with a Tetsu string, but we do have Recipro Burst to threaten something else, anything else, which is nice. The 2 Airstream Drivers certainly good in Torino.
Yep.
The thing that weirds me out about this deck as much as anything, so we're playing 2 Patient Observation and 0 Heroic Lineage, which I don't quite get, but so that's a little weird.
I liked dropping in from above in this deck as well, because I like Gran Torino has an UG field. You attack him and you're like, and your opponent says, ugh, I have to either get hit with this or I have to block. And if I block, it really sucks because now he's a completely empty card pool. The world is his oyster. And so dropping from above essentially says, it says you really want to block that first attack, or else all these thrashings at the end are going to get +1. Everything's going to get +1 this whole turn.
Yeah, and that could also be, and here's our high attack to get +2 damage, right? It's a high engine kick side.
It's certainly weird. Yeah, high engine kick and Airstream Driver both really like wearing +2 damage. They're not. This isn't a absolute insane outspeed deck. We're putting 8 speed on things, and if they check a 5 and have a +1 block, that really doesn't cost that much. But if they're tapping out to block that high attack, and then you have an even modest Recipro Burst that can end the game too.
Yeah, and so this is idle work, First Impressions, Tetsu, and the sidekick. So yeah, this is pretty good. This is the first. This one, I think, other than having some discard outlets, the foundation base is a little bit like dropping in from the above is interesting, but I'm not quite sure this is. It feels like this could be better.
Yeah,
for
I was
sure.
very surprised at 4 petty swabbles.
Yeah,
Like, I guess if we're gonna dump our hand on our turn and then use it to commit to draw 2 on our opponent's turn, that's something.
yeah, but Torino's E-commit is pretty good on both phases,
Yeah,
right?
it's
Like,
certainly not bad, and it's like there's a couple cards that I don't really grok confused. I don't play confused very much.
yeah,
It's a very particular piece, and I'm not sure what role it's really serving here, but yeah, I think the package of Tetsu Thrashing and Gran Torino, Gran Torino fits together with Tetsu Thrashing and First Impressions very well, and then the other pieces kind of melded pretty well with that as well.
yeah. Engine Rush, kind of interesting and random here. It's kind of a cute one. I don't hate it. Yeah.
It's really trying to play on the Gran Torino outfield.
Right.
Here's my big attack. You really want to block it, but you really don't want to block it.
Yeah. All right. So what do we have next? Oh, we have our first Mandalay. Yes. That? Surprised we didn't see too many Mandalays here. So this one is a good symbol Mandalay. We are playing all 3 attacks, as well as First Impressions, and we've left out the idle work. So Cat Scratch and Mandalay, obvious synergy, right?
Cool.
This certainly the character with her face on it. Rebound Sidekick and Tetsu is also pretty good at Mandalay.
Yeah, I like that we had like Capture Net to kind of play out some foundations and build a bigger stage to then get our Tetsu Thrashing rolling, and Mandalay just puts 2 more damage on Tetsu Thrashing. It's certainly very nice. Certainly appreciate it. It turns out when you have an empty hand and you just suit it for an attack, it's somewhat telegraphed what your attack zone is, and so the fact you're telling your opponent what attack zone it's going to be is not very...
Yeah, it's not a problem at all. And then, of course, you can put 2 on Rebound Sidekick in advance.
Oh, yeah.
We have Airstream Driver's kind of a cool call in Mandalay.
Yeah.
If you name high, and then if they block something, it's 11.
Ooh, yeah. That's
on an actual 5 difficulty, because you had out with a foundation in advance of it.
Yeah, one thing I did like in this deck too is like we've got this damage reduction package. It's a little bit of a somewhat light package. We've got 2 resistance and then the quad Bonds of Friendship, their Fury deck. That can be very frustrating to play into, where if you correctly name their zone, maybe if they're like stun grenading you and they pick up an attack and you're like, oh, I bet you want to play that. How it's your impact Cyclone next? Well, I'm gonna name high, then I'm gonna Bonds of Friendship it, and then I'm gonna So Manly response and call your card pool.
Yep. Plays nice with So Manly. Recovery Girls, because I do think like this is a bit of a spam heavy. We have the 2 checks, so I guess that's why we're playing the 8 zeros, is to try to play around the 2 checks. But we could be maybe a little bit greedier in our foundation quality. There's, again, we're playing the damage hate. We are not very interested in blocking anything here.
Yeah, and I thought this deck had a bit of a missed opportunity of it was only playing a couple of Adorable Telepath. It's playing these Capture Nets without a ton of clear things to get paid off for. I know I've been very vocal critic of Capture Net in general,
like
of
Capture
what
Net.
are you even building? Like,
Yeah.
if you play a Pax of Torch and then build it with Capture Net and then draw a card, all you've accomplished is you played a Capture Net,
Right.
and then you got to turn your good card into a random card.
Yeah, and we've got just the 2x torch to it. We're very scared to play 2 difficulty foundations in the second. I think probably more than we need to be.
Yeah, maybe a little bit over
Yeah,
conservative
but
on that.
pretty cool to see a Mandalay here. Definitely like the Airstream Driver.
Yeah, this deck had some good ideas in it.
Yeah.
For sure.
All right, we have definitely a Bots Gran Torino deck. So this is a lot of the same stuff. This one is also running Capture Net with no particular great thing to build with it. That's sort of the big downside for me. But Copy Harden's an interesting call in Torino.
Yeah, so it's not an attack you can build with Torino, but it is a very nice attack. This is like super hardened jab, right? Where now it's off mid, it's a little faster, and it's a little bigger than jab, and it lets you build something and then pick it back up. It was already committed, so it's no loss of value, and really try to throw some pressure on.
Yeah. So Copy Harden is some nice redundancy on Torino, because what if you have more than one attack face down? Which if they're blocking, you're going to, right? So Copy Harden gives you a way to really manufacture a long string. I have a feeling that Mr. Reagan has probably played some Gran Torino before and decided he likes that card in him. So we have the Rebound Sidekick, we have the Thrashing, we have the Haymakers. Nothing too wild or surprising here. Training Weights, I guess, would be the...
Have we seen a Go for the Win yet?
Yeah.
We have Capture Net and Go for the Win as cards you draw on your hand, and they help you empty your hand out in advance to get your engine going. And hey, it says One with Nature. That's a good card to build, especially if we're setting up a a Tetsu Thrashing string. Yeah, I like this deck a lot. Even just on the kind of basics level of, it wasn't too big. It was okay, pretty big by of a reasonable-ish size, but it still had 4 small and limber. I think see people playing 3
Right.
of that card and it offends me. This card's amazing, and it's a really basic building block that's always good in your stage. It's making use of idle work on both sides by writing those small numbers, by clearing out Tetsus from the stage, and like the go for the win training weights made me very happy when I saw it, because it's saying, listen, I'm going to have these tools to have more foundations than I should have, to quickly accelerate my resource count, and then I'm going to convert that into raw damage, and I'm going to play these long Tetsu strings where you just get checkmated, right? If you block a Tetsu and it goes to the stage and I'm going to get it back in 3 seconds, and they're all wearing these training weights buffs, the game's just over.
Yeah. Training weight's certainly a very nice call for a Gran Torino who very, very expressly needs to find damage, right?
Yeah, and even just like training weights has impressed me so much. Of just like you play an attack and you training weights it. It's completely free. You put 1 damage on it, and you enter the Gran Torino oath field of, do I really have to block this attack, clear his card pool, and it's also the smallest attack this turn? This sucks.
Yeah, and I'm a little down on mail bonding in this list, particularly Go for the Win. I've had Go for the Win sit dead in my hand.
Yeah.
In my travails as Tokoyami, so I'm a little wary of that in particular. But other than some like minor choices like that, this is certainly a pretty good Torino list. A little bit worried about winning without thrashing, I think, but.
It's the nature of being Gran Torino, I think.
Yeah, that's kind of comes with it. We do have the 3 Airstream drivers, so that's pretty cool. This is going to be one of our top 5. Definitely no, he is definitely a bot. That's
Yes.
Oh, it actually. Wait a minute. I thought it was not a bot. All right, never mind. now I'm getting confused about Nick Reagan's usernames. All right.
It's definitely always been definitely a bot.
Okay, never mind. So next we have Cameron Undergust Deku, his Izuku Midoriya 2. 1.
Very important. Yeah. I literally wrote down Deku 2 because I just saw Deku and I'm like, yeah, it's Deku 2.
Yeah, alright, so I misunderstood that. You want your hand empty for Tetsu thrashing, huh?
Yeah, we figured it out.
Yeah, we have found a way to do it.
This is the most attacks you will ever draw out of a 1-attack hand, where you play Deku and you yeet your whole hand, but your 1 card is Tetsu thrashing, and now it's 4 of them.
Yeah. So that's obviously really cool. About as good a use of Tetsu thrashing as you're going to get, even possibly including the man himself. Yeah. So this first one's 14, or 16, but hey, the next ones matter too.
Yeah, so I really liked some of the ways this deck ties together Tetsu Thrashing and Cat Scratch, which I think in a lot of ways can conflict with each other. Where Tetsu Thrashing says, I want an empty card pool so I can play all these copies. Cat Scratch says, well, either you're doing the momentum stuff, which is kind of marginal, or you're building up a big card pool full of foundations, and then playing a Cat Scratch with a bunch of speed on it. Well, we have First Impressions.
Yes.
Put speed on this.
Yes.
We have Setup Strike to put speed on that. We have Plus Ultra to double those speed bumps. And then we have, once we have our fast Cat Scratch, you play an attack, they block. First Impressions, they block. You play out all foundations in your hand, slam your Cat Scratch on 8, plus 10, and it kills them.
Yes. This is outside of Mandalay. This is probably the best use of Cat Scratch we've seen for sure. We even have the Hero's Inspiration here. I like the Wind is pretty interesting. Again, this is more we're trying to kill them with this Cat Scratch. And if we do not kill them with Cat Scratch, we still have Tetsu thrashing stuff. We've joint effort offensive to get double uses of the Deku here. This is also a pretty good First Impressions card to put 3 speed on this guy.
Hey, yeah. Okay, yeah.
This is actually really cool. This is pretty funny. I kind of want to try Deku with it. I want to try something like this. The one awkward part about this deck is there's a million cards.
1 million, yeah. And some of these, and especially it's tough because a lot of these are synergy cards, right?
Right.
I'm gonna draw my Like the Winds with my Tetsu Thrashings, and it's gonna be stone blank. I'm gonna draw my 2 of Hero's Inspiration with my Cat Scratch. How often am I going to combine my Cat Scratch with my Hero's Inspiration? It's not that often.
Yeah, and we are on the 6-2 check 3-0 diff plan. It's a little rough. This is a bit. We talk about the other list maybe not being greedy enough. This might be a little bit too greedy, especially with 6-2 checks. But the idea here is so cool.
Yeah. The Iron Chef. It's not about having the most polished deck list, but it's certainly about having. This deck has all the ideas.
Yeah.
And so,
this is going into the top 5. Alright, what do we have next? We have Pippa Sad's Mount Lady list. So this is a good symbol Mount Lady list.
Yeah, so I really like this deck is pushing some of these card pool interactions
Yes.
really hard. I thought that was sweet.
Yeah, so this is might be the one other list that is actually trying to power up the cat scratch. We've got Quick Creation and Heroes Inspiration in the list. We have 4x1 with Nature for our Thrashing, so we understand what we're doing there. We've got Cheerleader with Mount Lady, which makes a lot of sense. We're a bit thin on our spam count here.
Yeah, it's certainly pretty light for a deck with these 2 checks, but I'm willing to cut some slack on that. I really liked, this deck has 4 of the good ones. It's playing 4 Capture Evildoers, 4 with Nature, 4 Tetsu Thrashing, with Mount Lady giving that momentum that, Gran Torino clears the card pool when you block. Mount Lady doesn't even give you that option. She says, these Tetsu Thrashings are coming in, I'm playing all of them I found, I'm clearing my card pool, and I'm doing it again.
Yeah, and I guess New Training Method is a pseudo spam. That's probably what's going on here. But yeah, it is a little bit. We talked about the Mount Ladies before, and the one having throws, the one just not having throws, and this is a little bit of we just don't have a way to land attacks in here.
Yeah, it's so many mids, and then it's got a token low that's very slow. If you played dirt, it's really relying on that Tetsu Thrashing inevitability. I like that we skipped on First Impressions because it does not look like a good fit in this deck at all. So I like that call, and I like the direction of the card pool interactions, but it does feel like it's. I literally thought this was another Gran Torino deck at first because the attacks make sense for that character, and they don't feel like the best fit for Mount Lady.
Yeah. All right, 3 left. We have Cross Fates Mandalay. So this is the other Mandalay, the second Mandalay, and hey, we have Texas Smash.
Yes.
Our first Texas Smash sighting in our Tetsu Thrashing challenge.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, so we have Texas Smash, we have Heroic Strike, we have some nice offense. I was just thinking about building a deck like this if we stop having a Mandalay at our locals and I'm gonna pick it up.
As long as you build Staff Strike, it's not even.
I guess not even the same, right? Yeah. So we're playing Tetsu and Cat Scratch. Both cards that make perfectly fine sense in Mandalay. We are skipping out on the flash move so that we can be a punch theme, which is fine. We like that.
Yeah, I like we have 4x Adorable Telepath is a really sweet card in this character. I'm gonna have to consult my notes for exactly why I was so happy about that. But...
there's otherwise a pretty standard good symbol list. We are playing 5x Destroy Triggers, and I am surprised we're not up to 4 Small and Limber with this many Destroy Triggers, but that's fine. We have 7x Destroy Triggers even. Go for the win's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I like having characters that can set up my thing.
Yeah, that's true.
It's not that hard to imagine missing one of those. But yeah, I was kind of surprised that we're playing all these punches. Really, it seems like almost just for the combo on Texas Smash. There's not any note takings. There's not any pull no punches. There is Heroic Strike. Yeah,
we do have Heroic Strike.
But in the foundation base, it's really kind of
we're playing Advice for Winners over pull no punches is a little bit weird. For instance, I mean, I guess we're just trying to dodge the 3 diff, right?
Yeah.
Really hard. Yeah, I kind of like this. It felt like just outside of our top 5, probably like the 6th or the 7th one in, but it's a pretty cool Mandalay list. And then we have we have Chris Smith's Mount Lady list. I did not notice at first.
It took me a minute before I saw the Heroic Clash.
There is a Heroic Clash in here.
There's not 1. There's not 2. There are 3 speed mid 1 control Heroic Clash.
Yeah.
And there are 0 Tetsu Thrashings, which is curious to me. Let me check my notes. Yeah, it's certainly all. Once I opened the links, I looked over the deck list, and then I typed out in all caps Heroic Clash 3 question marks, which is hype. If we draw the hot hand, or even if we draw the mediocre hand, and then we clash it up and draw 2, that's certainly a powerful play. And Mount Lady means we're gonna have that momentum more often than not. And if we don't have that momentum, we don't have momentum. We're kind of sad, but we're stacking up these characters to have some big heavy hands later in the game.
Yeah, and we do have some throws in our Mount Lady list, and that's cool.
Yeah,
I have a bit of a complaint with the ratios in this deck. So we're playing a deck. We are putting a lot of resources into this thing that says draw 2 cards.
Yeah.
Clearly hoping it draws us an attack, and we're at like sub 30% attacks, right? And we're like 50-50 to even find a move off of our Heroic Clash, which is kind of a big kind of fighting against itself there.
I mean, I guess we're like mid-range for our clash. We're gonna say we're gonna draw 2 foundations, clear our card pool, and then build out.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
all right. So it's still 3 speed mid.
it's a lot of So we got a lot of mids, and we got a couple throws and a couple lows. Invisible infiltration is really interesting here.
Yeah, I think this is our only infiltration sighting. I think, again, who knows if I'm just making something up here, right? But I think what we're doing with this, in my head, and this is pretty funny, is we play infiltration and we first impressions it, and then we portal out the first impressions.
Okay.
And then when they block our move, our next one gets to have 3 speed and 3 damage. Right? Because we flip the first impressions on the follow-up move.
Isn't it only on the first attack?
Oh, never mind. I'm wrong. You don't even get to do that. It is only on your first attack.
Yeah, we don't have a lot of cool, super funny targets with that. We don't have any so manlies. We don't have any.
Yeah, we're just kind of like put it on a throw. Yeah, we don't have anything great to infiltration. Then in that case, we can draw a card and then go ready the passing the torch, I guess.
Yeah, infiltration is a strong card.
Back. Yeah, it is just a good card. I'm not sure if I wouldn't rather it just be more throws in a Mount Lady list.
Yeah, to an extent.
Yeah. We have celebrity status with our card draw here to go pick up some things.
Oh, there's been very little celebrity status in this, unless I missed that, and that's a good. I mean, that's kind of the cat scratch dream of, well, we're going to tutor momentum, then we're going to maneuver into our hand. It's a lot easier than playing Hardened Jab.
Yeah, another list where we're playing Kiss over the Battle Resolve in our character that desperately wants to put speed on things. With Haymaker to tutor our zero is a little bit of a shortcoming. But definitely big points for being bold with the Heroic Clash 1-check deck with Mount Lady. All right, and then our final list is going to be David Toombs Grand Trino. Here's our other Texas Smash sighting.
Yeah.
This is a Grand Trino that is here to kill people.
Yes, we are serious. We have not just Texas Smash, but we also have training weights to layer on more hammers on the back end of it.
Yeah, so we have the Texas and our second Detroit Smash sighting with the not quite as good as Mount Lady, but it is paying training rates. I don't quite know what to make of that, but it's pretty funny. But yeah, and we are 4xing one with nature. We want our hand empty. We are 4xing pull no punches. We want our card pool cleared.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, I like I certainly like the 4x the good ones.
Yeah.
4x capture evildoers. We're gonna clear our card pool like mad. We're gonna play out these strings, and you're gonna have a bad time if we can reach that stage of the game. And I'm not sure if this foundation base is quite equipped for these. The
one thing here is we are playing 6 2s and 4 3s and 15 spam, which is normally it's not actually a bad number, but it is a bit with the 2 heavy deck. This is maybe a bit much. Maybe we have to give up on the You're So Obvious dream and just play a couple spams over it or something. But yeah, definitely appreciate the Grand Trino that understands that this character doesn't have a lot of damage, so we're gonna play Texas Smash.
And Texas Smash Tetsu thrashing. We're talking about capturing that with Texas Smash. Emptying your hand out is not always easy, and this card accelerates how much you can empty your hand out while paying you back for it too.
Yeah, and we're a 4x1 with nature deck.
Yeah,
right, with Texas Smash in it, and we've seen Grand Trino, not quite Ojiro, but we've seen Ojiros put Texas Smash and one with nature together to great effect, right? And so this is going to make up the last of our top 5. So Mr. David Toombs. And compared to Nick Reagan's list, we have Capture Evildoers instead of the Go for the Win.
Yeah.
Both just get out of your hand, right, as an action card. This leaning a little bit more into the, like, hey, maybe we powerful Detroit Smash someday. We're going to pay for training weights that way instead of getting foundations to pay for training weights for.
Detroit Smash is a good use of both sides of Capture Evildoers for sure.
Yeah.
Where that's one more powerful or one more, build up my momentum.
Yeah, and more card pool clearing, right? Because we do need to actually pass all of these thrashings, right? that is a thing that we need to do at some point. So yeah, I probably should have gathered the tabs for the top 5 somewhere. So our top 5 are, see if we can guess. So we have David Toombs on this Texas Smash Grand Trino list.
If these were in order, I can tell you the...
They're almost in order. So we have Cameron Undergus's Deku 1 deck, where we are playing the biggest cat scratches known to mankind. We have definitely Nick Reagan's good Grand Trino list, a little more tame, a little more technical, move some cards around, try to win that way. We have UFS Hollow's Void Kicks Mount Lady deck.
Yep.
With a bunch of speed on our Mount Lady list, and then we have a bit early. We have Hehade's good symbol or traditional throw Mount Lady list that's making use of some of the cards that we brought in as ingredients here. So yeah, pretty cool. I'm really happy with the creativity that came out here.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
we're pretty good variety of decks.
Yeah, I definitely think we had a lot of exploration of this phase. I think I tried to make a list of things I was hoping to see, and I think they pretty much all got checked off by the end of the list, even with this many entrants.
Yeah.
So that was really great to see.
All right, cool. So without further ado, so our final winner, the person who's going to be getting the box of Heroes Clash sent to them, is we chose Mr. UFS Hollow and the Void Kicks Mount Lady deck.
Yeah, both distinct, relatively distinct. There were only a couple of Void decks entered, and I thought this did a really good job of both using the tools. It's a Mount Lady deck that very much wanted to be a Mount Lady deck. It was built around Mount Lady, was built around, and then had a really good package and a really coherent idea of what it was doing that was making use of all the ingredients.
Yeah, and certainly probably one of the more potentially effective decks if you were to bring something like this to a local. I was surprised we didn't see more Void Kicks deck. It was just this and the Selkie, right? But yeah,
Void Kicks are way off meta.
Yeah,
so it's I am certainly a fan of Heroic Lineage, High Engine Kick. These have been cards I certainly have won a tournament with once upon a time. Very different metagame.
True.
And it's great to see what is old has become new again.
Yeah, and we have some creativity in here, right? We're not just playing the boring old kicks. We have some pretty cool stuff. We're making good use out of Easily Excited. So yeah, congratulations to UFS Hollow. I am not sure what person that username maps to. So please message me on Discord or comment with a Discord username on YouTube, and we'll get in contact and get your address. And so yeah, thanks to everyone for entering. We are going to do 2 more of these, so keep an eye out. Probably on the next newscast, I'll figure out another set of ingredients that seem interesting that share 2 symbols. Maybe won't force ourselves to include a DLC card this time, but maybe we will. I don't know, we'll figure something out. I've had some thoughts of some funny cards. I was thinking about Tentacle Tactics the other day. We use that card.
Yeah.
That card's a little underplayed, probably.
Drastically underplayed.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
Yeah, so thanks for everyone for entering. Hope to see more entries with this much creativity on the next one.
Yeah, I can't wait to tune in for the next Iron Chef challenge as one of the little spectators to see what everyone comes up with next time.
All right, yeah, so please look forward to it. Thanks, everyone. Have a good night.